Hi everyone, welcome back. So let's resume our Aeon topic where we left yesterday. So I guess I need to start from here, from this new series, which is during the 1990s, individuals' life prospects were shaped not by their personal commitment or effort but by structural forces. So let's see what this series hold for us. Let's start with the first basis. There are also accounts of breaking social ties from the opposite perspective. With swiftly widening inequalities, it was easy to feel stagnant while others, even in modest way, experience upward mobility. Some individuals recount distancing themselves from those whom they perceive as becoming arrogant, suddenly preoccupied with expensive dinner, travels, and self centered pursuits. The stories often revolve around how a former friend introduced a market logic into the realm of interpersonal trust, thereby violating the skewed boundary that once distinguished the two. So basically, what this passage is saying, there are also accounts of breaking social ties from the opposite perspective. With the swiftly widening inequalities, it was easy to feel stagnant while others, even a modest way, experienced upward mobility. So it feels that it says that we feel stagnant when we just experiencing inequalities, when the same age of our peoples are experiencing a different thing, even and add to that in the upward way, but we are in stagnant where we were earlier. So it's in two kind of experience with two opposite experience, and it's a modest way. We feel stagnant when we are not upwarding, when the other person of our own age are growing rapidly. Some individuals recount distancing themselves from those whom they perceive as becoming arrogant, suddenly preoccupied with expensive dinners, travels, and self-centered pursuits. So it says that some peoples are keep now started distancing themselves from the people who now suddenly become arrogant. They just preoccupied themselves with expensive dinners, travels, and self-centered pursuits. When we can say that, how I can just explain you this whole term is when when you just pass out from the college, when your friend gets higher package than you, and that person is just check ticking the all his checklist of what he wanna or he she wanted to do in his her life, but at the same time you are still struggling, so then you're just trying to distancing themselves him yourself from that person's. These stories often revolve around how a former friend introduced a market logic into a realm of interpersonal trust, thereby violating the skewed boundary that once distinguished the two. So basically, this whole line this tells the same logic which is I explained you earlier, that now a story about your friends. We just can compare with your friends that how now the person is completely changed and experiencing something new which you are not even yet have experienced that, but still that things make a differences, create differences between the two. So what the title of this whole passage is, experience upward things change after upward mobility. And what we can take from here is that breaking a social ties from the opposite perspective, a swiftly widening inequalities, That's all the important point we can take, and nothing other are just modifiers, nothing subjects and objects are there. So let's moving toward the next species. Maria, today in her late 60s, was laid off from a large, formerly state-owned East Germany company during its dissolution in the early 1990s and endured the challenge of a harsh labor market for years. She vividly recalled an incident at her birthday party in the early 1990s that led to a break with a once close friend of hers. At one point, she came to my birthday as a surprise but wanted to acquire customers for her business. She occupied my guests, my friends in this way, so we separated. So that was a case when we said, no, I don't want you around anymore. To Maria, the former bond of equality founded on an implicit agreement about what truly mattered in life was shattered. So this is the example of Maria that once in her birthday in 1990s, one of her friends surprised her, but instead of engaging with her, celebrating her birthday, that the intention of her friend is for getting a customer for her business, not to just enjoying and celebrating her friend's birthday. At that day, she separate herself from her friend because now the bond between two are not the same, which were earlier. So it just we summarize the things. There is nothing. I just put the title of this passage and taking an important point from it. If it just summarizes and just an example of whatever the argument in the previous passage we just read. So just one line we can take from here is that the bond of equality founded an implicit agreement about what truly matters in life and was that, yeah, that's all. What truly matters in life, that's it. We can take. Let's moving toward the next pieces. Accounts like hers typically do not concern friends who become extremely affluent. Instead, they center on much smaller, subtler difference. People use these stories to criticize meritocratic beliefs and the detrimental effect that they have on purity of social connection. It's the nonsense that counts here, and the fact that these differences emerged from a previous more egalitarian relationships. So what this passage basically says that now the people are not the same which we were, not just people, the relationship, the people which were earlier, now it's not same. Everyone is just about think about their profits, their own profit. That we can just comprehend from this passage. What the important line and how we summarize this passage is a meritocratic beliefs and the detrimental effect people have on the purity of social connection is now started, which is not anymore relevant. So let's moving toward the next basis. It is remarkable that these narratives frame economic reality in moral terms. They emphasize the character traits of individuals, highlights the way people perceive and evaluate these experiences based on notion of personal virtues and values. This is noteworthy when considering that during the 1990s, individual life prospects were shaped not by their personal commitment or effort but rather by the factors such as their prior qualification, gender, geographic location, ethnicity, the fate of their firms, or social connection, all of which are structural forces. Taking initiatives and not relying on others to take care of you are seen as indicator of being a good person. In a similar way, staying true to oneself and avoiding behaviors that prioritize money over friendship are value trait indicating good character. This moral judgment assesses an individual character. So this just whole about how the individual character is structured. This whole passage is just about. So let's what this we can just comprehend from here is that it is remarkable that this narrative frames economic reality in moral terms. They emphasize the character trait of individuals, highlighting the way people perceive and evaluate this experience based on the notion of personal virtues and values. So this whole example highlights the people's own personal virtues and values. This is noteworthy when considering that during the 1990s, the individual life perspective was shaped not by their personal commitment or effort but rather by factors such as their prior qualification, gender, geographic location, ethnicity, fate of their firm, or social connection, all of which are structural forces. So it says that during the 1990s, the people's characters we can judge or we can just we can judge by their own personal commitment and efforts, their qualification, their gender, their geographic location, their ethnicity, and their social connection. All these things can structure a personal character. Taking initiatives and not relying on others to take care of you are seen as an indicator of being a good person. So it says that if you're taking initiative about anything and you're not relying on others for your own self-care, that person is considered to be as a good person. In a similar way, staying true to oneself and avoiding behavior that prioritize money over friendship are valued the trait indicating good character. This moral judgment as an individual character. So it says that if you're true to yourself, avoiding a behavior which prioritize money over friendships are also indicator of a good character. So, what the title of this whole passage is Structure of Good Character. So, what the points we can take from here is that the character traits of individual highlighting the way people perceive and evaluate their experience based on notion of personal virtues and values that we can take. And the more important chunk what we can take from here is that personal commitment or effort, but rather by the factors such as their prior qualification, gender, geographic location, ethnicity, faith of their firms, and social connection are structural forces and who are considering as a good person. Taking initiative or not relying on other, taking care of you as seen as indicator of being a good person and staying true to oneself, avoiding a behavior that prioritizes money over friendship, value a trait indicating a good character that we can take from here. So let's moving toward the next basis. The moral significance involved in the situations lies in the essence of the social relationship as a grown connection. The breach of trust is a breach of mutual understanding of the history of relationship. The philosopher Avishai Margalit has eloquently articulated this idea. According to Margalit, betray is fundamental characteristic by the disregard of the shared value that previously united two individuals. Betrayal is the act of shattering the meaning of the shared past. Only a strong tie, understood as a tie of mutual commitment, attachment, and recognition, can ever be betrayed. Such a tie are found in families, but more so in friendship relationship. So it's about the whole passage is about social connection. How strong your social connection is. So the title of this passage is Social Connection. So what we can take from here is that, or we can just give the title of this passage is Breach of Trust. That we can also put the title. So let's see what we can take from here is that the breach of trust is a breach of mutual understanding in the history of the relationship. What is betrayal means? A betrayal is the disregarded of the shared value that previously united two individuals, or a betrayal is the act of shattering the meaning of shared past. Strong tie understood as a tie of mutual commitment, attachment, recognition can ever be betrayed. So that's for just that things is found in friendship relationship only. So let's moving toward the next pieces. Two friends understanding of their past, the past of self, the past of other is mutually entangled. Because of it, it is constitutive of the relations. The shared past is colored by the betrayal, and only a tie that never had as its purpose as an external goal can be betrayed. The tie must have been treated as an end in itself. It must have had no other goal but flourishing of each of two persons, or more precisely, the flourishing of relationship itself. The betrayal is blow of the relation of commitment, which comes with a profound shock of the status of recognition of the other as a person. As Margaret noted in his book on Betrayal 2017, the shocking discovery in betrayal is the recognition of betrayer's lack of concern. The issue is not one's interest but one's significance. So, how one friendship is destroyed because of betrayal? This whole passage is about this, and what we can just take from it is that the two friends' understanding of their past, the past of the self and the past of others, is mutually entangled. You see that if the two friends understand their past, it is not just a past of them, it's a past of their self as well as their own mutual entanglement. How they're helping each other in these tough situations, how they understand each other more than anyone else. Because it is constitutive of the relation that share the past in color by betrayal. And only the tie that never had its purpose or an external goal can be betrayed. The tie must have been treated as an end on itself. It says that how a friendship break. It's just because when you just started putting external factors in your relationship, then it started breaking down. It must have had no other goal but flourishing each of two person, or more precisely, flourishing of the relationship itself. So it says that a friendship you can hold your friendship only by not putting anything not just what we can say that not entangled with anything apart from just flourishing each other or just flourishing this relationship itself. If you just put anything inside it, just in between it, then that is the end of that friendship. Betrayal is a blow of the relationship of commitment that comes with a profound shock of the status of recognition of other persons. So it says that when the one person, betrayal is a kind of a status and a shock mentality, status of shock status. When the recognition of other one person's harms the relationship with the another one. As Margaret noted in his book on Betrayal 2017, the shocking discovery on betrayal is the recognition of betrayer's lack of concern. The issue is not one's interest but one's significance. So one person, it's how the one person betray another. Is the betrayal is not happen just because of a lack of concern that other person is not concerning about the another one, but it is because of their lack of interest on one's significance. Means you are not just not showing any interest in that. You are not anymore feel the interest in that particular relationship. That's the end of your friendship. So the title of this passage is How the Friendship Die End. And what we can take from it is that a tie that never had its purpose on external goal can be betrayed. It must have no other goal but flourish of each other on the other two person, or more precisely the flourishing of their friendship relationship itself. How betrayal happens? A betrayal is a blow of the relation of commitment which comes with a profound shock on the state of recognition to the other person. And what is the significance here? The shocking discovery is a betrayal is a recognition of the betrayer's lack of concern, but the issue is not the one's interest but one's significance. That's all for today. So hope you guys like it. Let's see you guys tomorrow with the next series. As of now, have a great day.